Great news. It was good news.
It is Wednesday, May 7th at 8:31 p.m. The Board of Finance is now in session. Please stand for pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2025.
So moved.
Made, second by John. Katie, any amendments or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Chair's comments, I don't have any. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Any member of the finance committee would like to say something? John?
I'll say, obviously, we had the referendums last night, and I just want to say I appreciate all the efforts that the select woman and others, their efforts to secure some grants for this proposal. I've said it for quite a while. We send more and more dollars to Washington and to Hartford, and very little comes back. I know we're going to be talking about education cost funding, because I've heard some things going on about that, but the efforts don't go unnoticed. And I would just hope that we continue to look for those grants, donations. We have some donations coming through today, because again, we deserve it for all the tax dollars that we pay. So thank you.
Thanks, John. Katie?
Yeah, echoing that, thank you to the town departments and obviously the town clerk and the office of the registrars and everybody that went into a very successful referendum yesterday. Very happy that the budgets were approved. And thank you to all the voters. I think we had a great turnout for a May referendum. So that's always good. So thank you all around.
Before we get to John, congratulations on the grandfather. Leo, so congratulations. Now, God, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much. I just wanted to echo those sentiments too, thanking everyone. It was a very collegial working group here this year, and town was, there was controversy, but there was also a collegial work together, so that's very appreciated. And personally, I appreciate, I assume this is our last finance meeting before our next budget season, but thank you to you for welcoming me and instructing me and taking pictures with me. So I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, John.
Great work.
Bob?
Yeah, good morning. I'll echo the sentiments of everyone that spoke already and just say that it was really great turnout, and appreciate the fact that we really did an amazing job on the budget. And I'm glad that that went through favorably.
Thank you, Bob. Matt?
Nothing new to add. So, thank you to all the voters that came out. I'm pleasantly surprised that the budget's passed. A lot of times it's the same vote all the way down the ticket. So I'm glad the voters really took a look at this, and I appreciate that quite a bit.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the voters did a good job of educating themselves on the budgets too. Passed. So I think that's a credit to the first selectman, the board of selectmen, the board of ed, and the board of finance to put some good budgets together. So thanks to everyone and the voters that came out. So thank you. Anybody else in the finance board? Our first selectman is here. Peggy, would you like to say a few?
Yeah, I just want to echo the same thing. Thank you to the voters. Thank you to the Board of Finance for all the work that you've done on the budgets, and the Board of Education. I think there's a lot of careful deliberation as we went to the budget process this year, and grateful that everything passed handily. Obviously disappointed in Academy. We've known this has been, I've always called it the albatross around the first selectman's neck for the last 20 years. And unfortunately, it didn't move forward, but obviously the most important thing, it was the public that made that decision. And I'm glad they had the opportunity to weigh in, and they weighed in very loud. So our board will now convene to talk about this, the next steps for the building and how we're going to kind of solve and tackle that problem. And also how we're gonna handle the grants, which I think are pretty much gonna be lost, which is unfortunate, but at the same point, you know, we have to move on and figure out a fiscally responsible way to handle the challenge of the building, but also address a lot of the needs the town still has, given that this isn't moving forward. So there'll be more conversations about Academy. But it is good to have that definitive view, I think, from the community in terms of, you know, the project that was in. So, and once again, turnout, I think, was fantastic. I would love to see this every year. The last turnout in the 2022 referendum was about the same. This was slightly higher. So we know that if there's big issues and topics that people are focused on, it will drive out turnout. So that's good to know. So we can take away that people were informed and made an effort to vote. So that, grateful and excited to just move forward.
Thank you, Peggy. Citizens' comments, anybody from the public would like to speak? Everybody? There are none. Second time. First time. Those new business, discuss take action, set the mill rate for fiscal 26. Item A is discuss and take action to include the mill rate calculation. So asking the Board of Finance, someone to make a motion to include state revenue in the amount of $1,322,977 into the mill rate calculation. Can I get that in the form of a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, a second. Made in second.
Discussion.
Yes, there's going to be a discussion, John. Discussion. I'm just checking to see if anybody there has anything. Discussion.
That includes our educational cost sharing and
Yes.
That's what was.
Yeah, all the
And-
state revenue and
because
there's some pilot money in there. There was, I don't know if you remember going back and looking at the revenue, there's like 4 or 5 items.
Yeah.
Some of it's pilot, some of it's ACS.
Right. The only reason I bring this up is that I heard the other night, which kind of caught me off guard, that I guess there's some bills up in the legislature that could very possibly take away, you were at that meeting, take away some of our, what little we get left for cost sharing. So I just wasn't sure if everybody's aware of that, or I don't know if it really has much legs on it, or.
Fortunately, we don't receive much at all.
No,
Speaking
yeah.
of previous.
But we also don't budget for it.
We did this
We
year.
did
Well,
budget.
that's what-
Yeah, we did
that's-
budget this year, but it's still a small part of the budget. One at a time, go ahead.
My understanding, it's more about future,
Yeah.
not this
Okay.
year's budget. So they're talking about having like a slowly decline, and that's a true pilot as well. We
Yeah.
do receive updated projections, usually from CCM.
And we
Sure.
should, we
Yeah.
reduced a little bit
Yeah.
from what we got last year, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
so but this year's number should be pretty solid, and then I think it's gonna be, what are they looking at the outcomes?
Okay.
John, just to look, for years, the pilot money used to be 100%.
Oh, I know.
And then it
Yeah.
was 90, 80, 70, I don't know what it is here, but in some places it's now less than 50%. So it's been
Right.
increasing over the years from its original intention.
Ours has been flat for quite a while.
I'm going back. a few years.
Yeah.
I know there's always discussion of it, but it seems like these bills got out of committee and they're in the, could possibly be in the budget bill, so I.
Correct.
So-
And it
so-
could
so that
affect
takes
fiscal
it a step-
27.
That takes it a step closer, so I was just concerned about that.
Fair enough.
Because, my understanding is, we've in the past not budgeted for it. And then when we said, well, we're gonna put some fund balance undesignated towards to build the budget, but we never really had to, because then when the revenue comes in, there's no need to really
To
hit
use the
fund
fund
balance.
That is
So,
correct.
Yeah,
And we still use a small amount in terms of, I think we used some last year too.
yeah.
It's gonna be important for next year's budget. So
Right.
keep it on your radar.
Yeah, a little small. So good point, thank you. Any other discussion on the state revenue? Seeing none, all those in favor of using the state revenue in the amount of $1,322,977, signify by saying aye or raising their hands.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention, the motion carries. Well, the line, the board, like a motion to the Board of Finance to allocate $500,000 from the prior year's fund balance to reduce the amount raised by taxes. So also, as you know, alongside this, when I talked to Stacy last night, is to use the 5-year average of our interest. So it has the years when interest rates are next to nothing, and that was 1.96.
Yep.
So it allowed us, at one point, we were looking at 750 or 900, the $500,000, this will keep the mill rate at 2 or a little below 2. So what I'm asking for is a motion, but I just want to explain why the 500,000, not 250 or 750 or a million, is because we use the 5-year average of the interest that we earn on fund balance. So ask for a motion to allocate 500,000 from of the prior year fund balance, reduce the amount owed by taxes. Can I get that in the form of a motion, please? So moved.
Second.
Motion by John. Second by Katie and Matt. Discussion.
Just a quick clarification for myself, mostly this 500,000 is essentially there as a safety net, correct? And we anticipate that the tax revenues that come in will come in at an appropriate percentage that we will not have to give it to. That was my
That is-
understanding, is that correct?
That is correct. It's similar to what John said
Plus
previously.
the interest.
Plus the interest,
Yeah.
correct. But yes, whether it's tax collection, tax revenue, we have not used it in the last, for as long as I can remember, we have not, it's been budgeted for, we've never had to use it. There in case, as you said, a safety event. Any other discussion or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstention, motion carries. The Board of Finance, I'd like to ask a motion to set the mill rate for fiscal, for fiscal 26, using a tax collection rate of 98.75. So essentially, we're using the same tax rate we had before, so. So I'm asking to set the tax collection rate at 98.75 for fiscal 26.
So moved.
Motion made by Katie, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by John. Discussion, comments, that's what we've always used. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention, that motion carries. So the Board of Finance, I'm asking for a motion to set the mill rate for fiscal 26 at 22.43, which is an increase from last year of 2 or a little under 2.
1.95.
1.95, thank you, Stacy. So I'm asking for a motion to set the mill rate for fiscal 26 at 22.43, which is a 1.95% increase.
So moved.
Motion made by Katie, Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Matt. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Compliance with state law, tax bills indicate the number of mills anticipated state revenue equate to this year, it showed 22, into the record, compliance with state requirements of tax bills indicate the number of mills anticipated state equate to this year. Bills would show a 22.75 mill rate. So basically what you're saying, without the state revenue, what would it be? So instead of being 22, this is right going to John's point too, the amount of help we receive. So basically, just acknowledging compliance with state law requiring the tax bills indicate the number of mills anticipated state revenue would equate to this year that would show a 22.75. I guess we need that in the form of a motion, so I want to make that please.
So moved.
Thanks. Motion made by Katie, made by John, second by Katie. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, that motion carries. Thank you. Are we good there, Stacy?
We're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Peggy. So item 8, discuss and take action to accept donation from Nathan Neighbor amount of $10,000 to the Madison Youth and Family Services for Madison residents in need of food assistance. It was approved by the BOS on April 28, 25. Can I get that in form of a motion, please? Motion made by Katie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by John. Discussion.
Thank you very much to Neighbor. I understand this is being used for emergency food and energy costs, so, and I'm grateful for their assistance and donation.
Comments? I think we're all appreciate that and are thankful. Any other comments? Say none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Abstention, that motion carries. Item 9, discuss and take action to set the grant amount of $3,500 from CCAPA, and Donald Scholarship Internship Grant for summer interns to assist with the development of multi-modal transportation plan as outlined in the POCD approved by the Board of Selectmen 4/28/25. Take that form of motion, please.
So,
Motion made by Katie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. John.
and John.
Jay Swear.
Discussion.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea and a wonderful opportunity. My son was an intern for the town of Glastonbury in his graduate school program, and I think it's mutually beneficial, so it's a great opportunity for both. And
More of these.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item 10, discuss and take action to accept the donation from Graph Design and Build LLC in the amount of $18,400 for 88 accessible Madison at the Surf Club, which was approved by the Board of Selectmen on 4/28/25. A motion, please.
So moved.
Motion made by Katie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by everyone. Discussion.
So I don't know if anybody watched the Board of Selectmen meeting like I do on the lawn, but this is another amazing opportunity and incredible donation that will make the surf club memorable for everybody. Seniors who have mobility issues, anybody who has mobility issues, to be able to enjoy all the benefits that we all do from the surf club. So very grateful for this donation. Hope that something, I know there's one at West Wharf as well, of kind of a different map, but
Yeah.
similar idea. And hopefully at some point we'll have one at my favorite beach, East Wharf.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Kay says. Very thankful for this. This is a fantastic idea. It's more inclusive for everyone, especially with mobility issues, but such a great donation.
And from someone out of town.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very nice. Any other
it's
comments?
Perry John's.
Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Item 11, discuss and take action to approve a line item transfer $20,000 from the contingency line item to electric line for the end of year electric cost for town facilities pending POS approval. And I know this was discussed several times in the budget process. But can I get that form of a motion, please?
So moved.
Thanks, John. Can I get a second?
Second.
Katie and Matt. Any discussion?
Just wondering, is this telling us that perhaps the next year's budget won't be sufficient? We needed 20, I can't remember what.
I think we put that in there.
Yeah.
It's already been.
This came out like
Yeah.
after we'd set, this came out in the fall, right? And
Yeah.
Peter came and explained,
Yeah.
which we all knew what happened
Right.
with the electricity prices, that this might be coming. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, so, you know.
To answer your question, we did.
Yeah, I think I
compensate for
vaguely
that this year's
remember.
budget. He asked us
Yeah.
to change it during
That's
the
right.
budget
Yep.
deliberations. We also had something for this year, fiscal 25.
That's correct, we did. Thank you.
Any other comments or discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries. Discuss and take action to approve a special appropriation request from the Facilities Department amount of $1,601,212 from the undesignated fund balance to the emergency shelter generator project, which was approved by the Board of Selectmen on April 28th, pending special town meeting approval. So obviously this needs a town meeting approval. Get that in form of a motion, please.
So
Motion by Katie. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
John. Thank you. Any discussion on the comments?
Just that this is kind of the final step, and this has been budgeted for 2 years. We've been planning, this is the matching component for the federal grant that we got for the emergency shelter, to purchase the generator going into Polson. The two projects have now been very much intertwined. We've been leveraging the grant to help pay for a lot of the electrical upgrades at Polson, so that's been a good thing. And so the grant is helping to pay for a lot of that, and this is just the next step. So they've already gone out to bid. In order for us to, the generator takes over a year to order, because there's just such a backlog of these types of things, so we want to get it locked in and.
Will this keep it on schedule?
This will keep it on schedule, because the installation, all the Polson work is gonna start heavy summer 2026. HVAC, I think they start the auditorium and then they'll have the generator in place, so. They gotta get it, procure it now, so they get it in place to do the work next summer.
Any comments?
For the special town meeting, we advertise it in the source, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're required
Do
to.
we do anything else to?
Fine.
We always put it, community update, it's always, we do
Yeah.
multiple posts, social media posts,
You put it in your town email.
and then, yeah, the town emails. Text.
Sure, sure,
You have
sure.
to sign, I mean, the one thing that I keep encouraging people, you gotta sign up for the Madison alerts to get the
Okay.
information. But it's also noticed on the town website as well.
Any other comments?
Do
Discussion?
we know when that town meeting's gonna be? Yep.
The date is the 27th. I think we're doing it before the board of selectmen meeting. We couldn't get, the schools are all booked because of, end of year stuff. So we're in the town campus gym. So we've set it up for there.
27th of this.
It's the,
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, after. And that's our board select.
That's
Yeah,
yours.
that's right, okay. Where we land on this, but we also, the other piece of this is we did get a state grant for $500,000, and in order to sign that final agreement, we have to have all the funding secured in place to sign the agreement. And that has to be signed by June, so that's why we squeezed this in now.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions, that motion carries. Thank you. Review of the financials. Does anybody, I know we have it in front of us. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the financials?
Stacy.
I can just tell you a couple changes.
Go ahead, Stacy.
Just so you can see, first of all, that 1.6 was at the bottom, now it's in the middle, hoping that it will go through. And then I did send an email to all town departments asking if they will be coming to the boards for any additional funds. So you'll see in there that there's a snow removal amount that we got from Public Works, they will be coming to you guys, I just didn't want you guys to be surprised. The fire protection water tanks, that was already discussed, that was 200,000, that was on the bottom before, so we're gonna put that on the next agenda as well. The cost of the water tanks went up, we took the money out of the CIP and we want to replenish it. And then the other two items are the West Wharf lease, which is currently $1,000 a month in the north side parking lot, lease shortage. So those are on there.
I can explain those if you want, I know you're looking at water.
We
So
are.
just recall, there's a strip of West Wharf Beach that the town does not own. And for years, it just was kind of left that we could use it. The property owner a couple of years ago came back and wanted to see some sort of compensation or whatever for using the property. We've been in negotiations with them for quite a while. They're also going through the BAA process. We were hoping to have this resolved when we did the budget last fall. And then they decided to table everything. We're looking for a long-term solution, I'll just say that for this. And so we tabled everything until they go through the BAA process. And that's not completed because I think they've appealed. So we didn't budget for it. We thought we had kind of things finalized, and that will be coming to your board as well when we do have a final deal that we're working on. The other piece is the town leases the parking lot, the downtown parking lot behind the post office. There's two property owners, and we had a 20-year lease with them that expired in October. And that was a little bit of a protracted negotiation. They did ask for a significant increase. We did negotiate it down, but our board opted to do, I think, a 3-year, right? Lock it, we didn't do another 20-year, and then I think as a town, we have to have a broader conversation about public parking, because now the dollar amount's gotten a bit more. There's a value to awful public parking, but it's not town property. So that gives us a little time to kind of figure out where we want to go with that. But the lease is more than what we normally budgeted for, so.
What is the
Did it just
BAA?
actually-
Board of Assessment appeals. So it's a private residence that owns that strip of beach. So if you go to West Wharf, there's a triangle there that the town does not own, but people use it as public beach.
Is that the same property that was considered in terms of swaps some years ago? for
Yes.
Mass Mutual?
The EV charging stations, are those town owned or are those by the property owners?
Those are town owned and installed. We actually handle all the maintenance, the
They pay us
lights,
for those,
everything.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, anyways, like I said, it was a 20 or 25-year lease. It expired. We had negotiations. We said, all right, let's just get us through, give us some time to find a long-term solution. So that's what we're gonna work on. But so the lease went up. What was the dollar amount? That's what they're voting on right now. 12,000.
11,540, 12,000.
Right, so it went from like 20,000 to 30 something now.
So
And
it's
it is
25
budgeted
lease.
for next year.
And, sorry.
Go ahead.
Like, if we decided we don't wanna lease it anymore, they might charge
Yeah.
patrons
Right,
to use it, right? But, like, has that been considered?
Oh, no, I mean, it's really, I think the problem is this kind of came up at the last minute.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, all of a sudden you get this letter saying, by the way, this is expiring, right? No one's tracking this in
Sure,
town.
sure.
So 25, nobody in this room was working. So now it's on the radar and that's why we decided a 3-year timeframe. The board said, let's just get through 3 years. So it would be very disruptive if they closed that down, obviously. And then I think we have to have a philosophical conversation about, does the town want to continue to subsidize public parking downtown? There's a value to it, and from what I hear historically, and speaking to Al, who calls this from years ago, downtown was struggling,
Mhm.
and they wanted to make sure to provide support,
Sure.
right, for the businesses, because there isn't a lot of other public parking. We have the lot behind RJ Julia, that's town owned. We don't own the Stop and Shop parking lot, and then we just have the street parking. So, you know, it'll be a conversation, but we've got 3 years to kind of figure out what we want to do.
Stacey, was there anything else on the financials that we can run off on?
I think that was pretty much.
I mean, I will highlight, there's another appropriation on there, the emergency operations shelter, not shelter, the EOC project. The board is gonna be getting an update, next week. That's another one where there's been a lot of budget struggles. We've already had 2 meetings about it last year, I think, when we were digging into this. So that will be coming forward to this board soon as well, the direction we're going on that.
Hey, Katie, I have one more question.
Yeah, just along the lines, I know there's a bunch of projects happening. So I know, because I like scouted it out, but Surf Club Garden Point,
Yeah, you should have gotten an invite to that
Yeah.
next Friday. Yeah.
so that's almost completed. We can see the town garage over here.
Yeah.
Is being worked on.
Reskins,
So all the
yeah.
stuff we talk about is happening. The
Yeah.
signage around town is still happening.
Yeah, the wayfinding signs, she was just getting an update, there was a little bit of a hiccup on something, but that'll be coming out. The EDC has actually meeting tomorrow night to approve the final wayfinding signs. Yeah, that was money that was ARPA funded,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so that should be rolling out soon. Obviously, the new school, the other thing is there'll be something we're working out when the new school kind of formal ribbon cutting and all that's gonna happen, so that'll be coming up soon.
Well, I went to the meeting this week, with the building committee meeting, and they are right on time, on budget. It's amazing. Kudos to that committee. They've been so efficient. I mean, their meetings are like half an hour long, but they're jam-packed with great information, and the pictures that I've seen are just unbelievable. So it's very exciting. Looks like it'll be done at the end of May, and plenty of time for the beginning of school.
It's gonna be beautiful, beautiful. So,
Very cool.
and I think we should have some town meetings there, both finance and board of selectmen and kind of,
Sign me up.
got some great space.
Yeah, you had me on budget.
Yes.
Does that leave the necessary funds for the raising of Ryerson? Are we that close enough to know, or?
My understanding is, yes, what was originally budgeted. So, but we also were hearing that what was budgeted was not
It's not
adequately
sufficient.
ready. So, but over the summer, they hired a consultant to come up with a real number. Before anything's closed out on that project, we will know what that number is, so. But they've been earmarking that number all along, and they understand that that's a priority.
She got me down with the meetings for a half hour, got a lot done.
Just like this one, John. It's 9
That's it.
o'clock.
Love that. Any other, any other comments on the financials?
John, John?
All right. Anybody from the public would like to speak? Tina, anybody there? Once, twice, three times, public information is closed. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Motion made by Katie. Can I get a
Second.
second? Second by JR. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 9:01. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.